Good evening, November Foxtrot. Thanks to everyone on YouTube shouting at us for being late. You might be able to tell from the fact that it's just currently me here with our two established hosts, guests, sorry, that we are having a few little technical issues. I don't think Lance will be joining us this week, and Andy's trying to get his laptop to connect to the hotel internet. Andrew Taylor has just said, is Andy in charge this week or something? I'm joined this week by my brother Dave. Say hello.
Hiya, you alright?
And Reese. Down there.
Hey.
There we go. So these guys are on our Punishers team as well. So we can obviously still progress the chat. But hello everyone in the chat. So we've got Danny, Philip, James C, Danny again, Nick, Rage, Andrew, Les, Harry, Kenny Rebel, I think that's everyone. Damien, Harry. So yeah, welcome in. How are we doing, guys? Had a good week?
Yeah, busy.
Always busy, mate.
Yeah.
I know. Tell you what, it's been blimming hot.
Yes, very much so.
It's nice. It's not raining though for a change.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely.
Unfortunately for me, tomorrow it is going to be raining where I work. So great.
So what do you do?
I work at the docks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm just off a grain. So
Cool. David, do you want to tell us what you do?
The punches.
I get to fly drones for a living, which is fun.
Can we spot
Also
jump?
well, to be fair, it is down at the docks as well, just different docks. But it's yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit thrown by the fact that there's a few people not here. I'm hoping Andy's going to join us soon. What we'll do is we'll jump into it. So, I'll tell you what. Let's have a little chat about the wild camping. So, it was actually Dave's sort of stag do-esque thing this weekend. Him, myself, and a friend called James went on a bit of wild camping around Dartmoor. A couple of things I just specifically wanted to share about. Sorry, Danny's just said, "Is there a bit of docking?"
Always. That's what stag do's are for, isn't it? It's,
Yeah. Ray just says, "How are you in the same team and don't know what they do, Mike? Shame on you." To be fair, mate, I don't even know what I do half the time either, so I wouldn't worry.
Point and shooting it.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you exactly what they do on the team, which is, Reese and Dave are both riflemen, and David's going to make a joke about carrying the team because he's a bastard.
My back up still hurts.
But yeah, so we did a bit of wild camping this weekend. Just a little bit of feedback. So the Grail water filter worked perfectly. Really good little system.
So much better than the Sawyer.
Yeah, so you were using the Sawyer, weren't you? Which was a bit pondy still when it came out.
Oh, that, and it took like half an hour to get a mouthful of water. It's faff. Yeah.
So that worked quite well. The Virtus Bergen ran that for the weekend. That was really good. There's a few little bits and pieces that I'm going to sort of aim to tweak, but there'll be full reviews on the website when I've sort of tested it a little bit more. But one important thing that I feel like is a good topic of conversation was during Saturday night, we woke up at 1:30 in the middle of a lightning storm. Now, that was a bit scary.
Scariest moment of my life.
We were on top of the hill, and we were counting the lightning. So, you sort of the lightning flashes and you go, 1, 2, and then the thunder was immediately happening. Now, I'd just like to throw it out there. Does anybody actually know, apart from David, because I know we Googled this, what does the seconds mean? So if you count 2 seconds between the flash and the thunder, what does that mean? Do you want to have a go, Reese?
Is it not in terms of like how far away it is? Is that right?
Yeah. Any idea on how far 2 seconds might be?
See, I remember talking about this, like, obviously when I was younger in school, but to be honest, off the top of my head, I cannot remember. I always thought it was miles, maybe, but so I'm not too sure.
No, that's fine. That's what we thought. So we were sitting there counting to 2, and we were like, "Oh, good, it's 2 miles away." Next morning, it turns out that you actually divide the number by 5 for miles, and 3 if you want it in kilometers. So that storm was 600 meters away from us. Which
nice.
is very close. It's very, very close.
Yeah, very much so.
Especially when we're on the arse end of nowhere on the side of precarity on the side of this mountain with nothing else around us. It was a bit of a...
Yeah.
So, I did see that on Facebook. It looked quite enjoyable, really.
Oh, it was great. Other than that one night.
Because genuinely we thought we were going to die.
Yeah.
That's always a good start.
A lot of people in the chat are kind of throwing out 1 second equals a mile. That's what we thought, and it doesn't. 1 second is 1/5 of a mile, and or the equivalent of like 1/3 of a kilometer. So if you're ever stuck in a thunderstorm and you start counting, just bear that in mind. And the other thing we learned as well is because we didn't know what to do. We were in a tent up the top of a hill in the middle of a thunderstorm. So we were like, oh well, let's just lay as flat as possible, and that'll be fine because we're pressed to the ground. That's safe. Googling it the next morning, apparently one of the worst things you can do is lay as flat as possible, because what happens is lightning comes down, strikes the tent poles, and then struggles to find a route to the earth, basically. So it looks for this big, large, wet, fleshy thing, because you're a brilliant conductor, and now you're spread out across the ground, which means you're perfectly earthed.
Mike's talking about himself again, Dave.
I was going to say, to be honest, I was just trying to get myself lower than you, because at least then you're higher and you're more likely to get struck.
I was going to say that when you were saying about it, I was thinking, yeah, but you'll be the one to get struck, because I always thought it was like the higher you are,
yeah,
the more of a chance you'll get struck.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, when I was younger, do you remember something called a Duke of Edinburgh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did that at school. And obviously one of the other punishers, Johnny 600, we both did the Duke of Edinburgh. And again, we were doing the lower one. I think it was like a bronze or something like that. And basically what had happened was, again, like you guys, we were in a thunderstorm. And it had actually struck a tree not far from us. Yeah. So I kind of can imagine how you felt with it being so close.
I have to admit, there was one moment. So me and Mike were sharing a tent, and there was one moment I just turned to him and was like, "This might be a little bit stupid now." And it was a bit. It was.
Yeah, because we weren't.
It was pretty scary.
I mean, most people would go out drinking for a stag do, but
we've been drinking quite a bit, to be fair. But at the same time, it's our Eurovision party in our tent. But yeah, it was just one of those moments. It's like, we may have fucked up here.
Yeah. So top learning point is if you count seconds, it's not 1 second equals a mile. Rage says you should have taken a really long metal pole, attached it to your tent, cover yourselves in barbecue sauce, and then survivors get barbecue long pig to eat. Thanks, Rage. Les says Mike's brother has a beard, so he's Mike adopted.
I to be fair, I've always thought that I was adopted. It's either that or milkman. Yeah.
Dave eats 6 packs of peanut butter in that time.
I was using that as a. I thought if I smeared myself in it, it might stop myself from getting electrocuted. But it's.
James says, so this is obviously going back to the Sawyers. So the only perk of the Sawyers is they last forever and a day, and that's true. The little mini Sawyers are, I believe, like a ceramic filter. So it's a little bit different because you can backwash those, whereas the Grail filters, I think, have a lifespan of about 350 uses.
To be fair to the Sawyer as well, it still works. I mean, I'm not dead yet, and I drank it all weekend, and it's and the problem was I mean, we were carrying about 1.5 to 2 liters of water each. So I bought this it's almost like a rollable plastic bottle that took 2 liters of water. But the problem was that then to fill that, it had such a small neck to fit the Sawyer. It then took half an hour to fill it. So we ended up using the cup of the Grail bottle to fill the bottle, and it just all became a bit redundant. Whereas you could do you got fresh drinking water in literally 30 seconds out of the cup. It's just a bit, it's.
Hey!
Sorry, I'm late.
All right.
Oh,
hotel. Let's just talk about lightning and water filters.
All right. So I haven't mentioned nothing.
No, that's fine. Lance, I was just saying, Lance may be able to join us tonight, Andy. I don't know if you've caught up with the chat.
Yeah, I was watching
Yeah.
while attempting not to throw stuff at the hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Panama says, is that vertical or horizontal miles away? So I believe it's technically diagonal. So it'd be from the point of where the lightning flashes to you. So take that as maths. To
be honest, 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it was kicking off, the last thing I was thinking of doing is basically counting the distance and then divide it by 5, whatever it was, whilst being petrified of dying. Like, it's yeah.
I must admit, that would probably be the last thing you'd be thinking about.
Well, exactly. It's like, they're not right, 5. You could.
I was swigging from my amaretto, so that was fine.
Yeah. just pull out the abacus that I have with me in my bag. And
Nick says, was Dave the one in the picture doing a fireman's lift at a recent event? So
I was the one being carried out. That's me. Yeah. That was, to be fair, probably one of the best moments of playing airsoft in my whole entire life.
By Ryan.
Yeah, by Ryan.
So there you go. Just last few questions. Harry says, what happens with Z13 call sign letters if you end up with more than 26 team members? Well, we've obviously got the Greek alphabet that we can drop down to. Failing that, you have to fight for your call sign.
I was going to say, don't they start culling them? Yeah.
Winner takes all. Is that what it is?
Yeah. And Kenny Rebel says he's been fabricating Faraday cages to protect electronics in MRAP armoured vehicles today. That sounds quite cool.
All right.
Can you do one for tents? It'd be really good if you come up with a but like a flexible Faraday cage. That'd be lovely. Last one. Silly Gilly says, while on lightning myth busting, does it strike in the same place twice? I have no idea. I'm assuming it could do. But
lightning always travels up as well. Lightning travels up from its point. So where it strikes, as it gets closer, lightning travels up from the object as well. There you go. Well, I'm off now. That's it.
And he stopped it for the week.
Yeah. Statistically speaking, I think you've got more chances of getting struck by lightning twice than winning the lottery. I think I read that somewhere once. So yeah, I think I'd rather win the lottery than being struck by lightning.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it and sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, unless you turn into unless you get superpowers out of it,
that'd be amazing.
You can't complain at that.
Question is, are they permanently lightning hands, or are they just like, have you got control? Because it'll be just like.
You quickly get divorced by your missus.
Shocking.
Panama just said a Faraday cage for a tent is called a caravan.
Or house.
That'd be a struggle to try and get where you guys were.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we how far did we walk? Something like 30 kilometres on.
It was about, I think, in total, it was about 40 over 4 days.
So, good fun.
Yeah.
Right, let's jump into about the punishes, because obviously we've whittled on for not 14 minutes about random stuff. Introductions. So do you guys want to take it in turns, give us a bit of an introduction of yourself, history of your sort of how you got into airsoft, and then talk about maybe your weapon choices and stuff, but just sort of like give people an idea of who you are. By all means, take whichever one wants to go first.
No, shut up, Mike. We're not going to do that.
So I'll go first. So I got introduced to airsoft by Mike. It was back at uni, so I'm probably, we're saying 2011, I think it was 2012, and it was the Just Be Gun site, I think it was.
That was the one.
That was the one, and so I had some crappy orange G36, I think it was, and then playing an indoor arena site, which was terrifying from memory. It was probably worse than the lightning storm, but yeah. And then following on from that, we started playing outside when they shut, because they shut the site, didn't they? And we finished in uni and stuff. We went home and couple of that's at APOC, Bush Valley, Call Under Fire seems to ring a bell as well. I think we started doing skirmish days. There's a Aldershot as well. There was one like that. Yeah. Anyway, and then we got invited to a MilSim, and that kind of changed everything, really, wasn't it? It's and then we're like, oh, this is amazing. Let's just started doing MilSims basically full time. And that, I haven't really looked back since. These are my guns. I won't touch them. So I run an M4 and a DMR. Don't ask me anything technically on them because I haven't got a clue. I buy them because they look cool and then paint them to make them look even cooler, and then stick things on them that make them, I think, look even cooler. And then when they don't work, I hand them over to somebody else to make them work again. I'll tell you what weight BB I fire if you want. I don't know if you know what more you want to know.
birth sign.
Yeah. So, what's your mother's maiden name and first name?
Yeah. And the last 3 digits. The last 3 digits of your card number.
Yeah, so that's,
don't worry, I'm an Arabian prince.
Right, so I started airsoft in, say, 16 with my dad, because when I was younger, my dad used to do military reenacting of like Vietnam War and things like that. So that's where I kind of got the idea to do it. And I ended up, the first time I ever went was to a site. I can't remember where it is. There's a site that used to run over near Rochester. I can't for the love nor money remember what the site was called. It's now a housing estate, believe it or not. With one of the other Punishers, Tony Bassett, and his son Ryan. And it kind of built up from there. Me and Phil, my dad, ended up making a small little team, which eventually fell through. As you can imagine, small little team. Bunch of immature people running around shooting people. Sounds about right for the sport. And then Dad joined the Punishers just before I did. And the rest is kind of history. Again, same as Dave. I run an M4 build. Exactly the same. Couldn't tell you for love nor money what's in it. I did, not that it's there anymore, I did used to run a FNX 45 gas blowback pistol, but I recently got rid of that to try a new range. Until I buy that, I will not know.
Fair enough. So, come on, guys, you need to tell us about your call signs, because obviously, you're obviously Z13H and Z13Q, but you've obviously got the name Mags and Tripwire from somewhere.
We really don't need to go into this.
We definitely
really don't. We don't.
Yeah, we do.
So I can't even remember. So the first gun I had was a P90 and I can't remember what the pistol was now, but the pistol, for some reason, every time you put it in a holster, it would release the mag, and it was a pain in the ass. And then every now and again, the P90 just decided to do its own little thing and fly about. And at the beginning of a skirmish, everyone's running, you've got mags flying everywhere, and subsequently I got the nickname Mags, and it's stuck ever since. I can't shift it. I get called Maggie every now and again. It's just, that's me.
Oh, I like that. That was the wholesome story.
Unfortunately.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for yours now.
Unfortunately, I got the nickname Tripwire from when I was younger, doing a reenacting show. In the dark, I'd managed to fall into a trench surrounded by surrounded by glow sticks. Don't ask me how I didn't see them. I had only just woke up, and the toilet was on the other side.
I like the fact you call tripwire because you fell down a hole.
Yeah.
To be honest, direct route. I've done it. Yeah. It's just like, yep, boom.
I think I probably could have lied and said that I tried to jump it, but I didn't. I just went straight into it.
Did you go in the hole, or did you actually climb out of it? See, I would have just done it in the hole and just walked back at that point. I would have been like, done.
I think the worst part was when I'd actually gone into the hole. There was people around it, so they just see this person disappear into this hole, and it was kind of like, "Hey guys."
Was it during the day or was it at night? Because that was the other
it was pitch black. Believe it or not, everyone was around the bonfire, and then there's just me. Like, oh, where's Reese gone? Gone.
That's an amazing story. I love that. Because like when I found out about the tripwire thing tonight, funnily enough, but it was when because I was like, oh, it must be some sort of like technological or like gizmo or something like tripwire. It sounds like a sort of computer game character, you know, the guy that's like running around with like all the gadgets and stuff. And like, no, I fell in a hole.
I wasn't really going to say about it, but since you brought it up, I kind of felt like I was put on the spot.
There's a question that's coming from Nick. Do you guys have specific roles in the team?
I mean, we vary, don't we, from game to game? I mean, I was 2 IC in one of the sections on the last MilSim, Longmore. I mean, some of us were medic roles, depending on. I mean, I guess it depends on the game type and what we're doing. We've got sniper classes within the squad. It purely depends on the event and what we're doing, I think.
Obviously, Mike runs a machine gun, so a lot of the time he's a support. And then obviously you've got like me and Dave that are
dropping mags, falling in holes.
Yeah. You know, there's a pecking order and all that, and then there's Lance.
Yeah, getting pictures from people on the side.
Yeah.
Lance,
you're doing really well, guys. You're doing really well.
He
just poses, doesn't he? He just runs around and just does.
Yeah, just for the photos.
Yeah,
it's like Lance, we're in the middle of a firefight over here. Can you?
No, wait 1 second. I'm doing the long stare over there.
Oh God, I'm not going to join in because he's bigger than me.
It's all right. He'll have to watch it back.
I can't believe you're talking about me like that, boys.
No, Lance is our glorious leader. To be honest, without Lance, none of us would be a big group of mates as we are. So it's all
very much true.
Hats off to him. We've got a good team going, and it's I think that specifically shows on the events where we rock up, and especially as the larger units it's in the last Longmore, for instance, we have a barbecue the night before. Like we all know each other. It just makes it a bit more enjoyable. Which is it's always nice to be able to rely on your mates, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Lance in the room with you. Is he?
Yeah, he's Lance. Lance, what are you doing?
Behind the camera, like.
Stop it, Lance.
I'm sorry, Lance. I'll do as I'm told.
Lance.
So, taking it back a little bit in terms of the roles and things that you do at the events. So, I mean, I know David, you've run sort of like TL. Well, I 2IC before. Reese, you've sort of taken. I know at the last event you seem to sort of be quite good out on point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talk us through some of those sort of like opportunities and stuff.
Do you want to go first, Dave, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean okay. Yeah, so the for the last event is in particular the nobly wanted to be TL. I think it was more what it was. So then everyone's like, right. I think Mark obviously he won as 1IC, and then they're looking for 2 ICs and stuff, and I thought, why not? I've not done it before. Let's give it a go. I mean, to be honest, everyone gets on so well. I mean, it can be like herding cats at times, but it's overall. I mean, it's a good laugh, and it gives you a good opportunity to have a go at trying different things. Yeah, it's the opportunity's there if you want to take it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at the last event, I think it was Legion, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, being one of the other, I've gone blonde now. Pointman. Yeah, it was. I wouldn't say it was different because I seem to always get stuck with the. Oh, I'm hit! Quick, someone save me! Now Dan's more in distress. But yeah, it's different. Do you know what I mean? No event's ever the same in so many ways. I mean, obviously I've been at the front. I've sometimes been at the back.
Running the other way.
Yeah. Or I might be in the front getting it from the back, you know. It's not gay, it's a bro job.
Sorry,
children.
It's not that kind of chat, sorry. Do apologise.
I think, to be fair with it all, again, going, because where we do all know each other, and the fact that going from game to game, you have your different roles and what you're specifically doing. And I mean, we're definitely not the best. I'm not putting this out there, but it makes a huge difference when you've got 5 people that you know, you're coming up to something, and we could be like, right, we've got a bit of an idea of what we're doing. Whereas having 5 complete strangers that you never know, you don't know how they play, it gives you, at times, it can give you, I'd say, a bit of an advantage in terms of what you're attacking. So, for instance, if you're attacking a house and you've got 5 people inside that have no idea who they are, it's all of a sudden, you can use that to your advantage and it makes such a difference. But that being said, I probably can count on one hand how many times that's probably actually worked from us being that efficient. Yeah. But I like to think we look cool while we're doing it.
I mean, when you were fireman carried, that was that was something else. I mean, you weren't expecting that, was you?
No, it was very arousing.
Get up! What?
So, do you guys have a preferred role? So, if you get the choice, where would you normally put yourself if it just kind of falls into place? Do you, for example, do you prefer running the DMR? Do you prefer doing that sort of role, or do you prefer being frontman? Or
personally, I think I prefer definitely being M4 over DMR. The patience of, I mean, it's not sniping, but the patience of sitting there and Overwatch and stuff, it's not. I'm useless at it. I mean, I'm lucky if I can hit something that's 5 meters in front of me, let alone 20 meters. It's for me personally, it's using stacking up on a building example. I mean, being able to have that and go in and know that, for instance, you're the second man in within the team. It's being a rifleman's great fun. Being 2IC was fun, and I'd do it again. But it's as we've said, going from game to game, it's you've got the choice of what you want to do, kind of thing. Everyone's pretty easy with it. So I know some of the lads, they prefer being the medic. I mean, for me personally, I think I've done that twice, and I hate it because you've got to not only you've got to worry about your own stuff, but now all of a sudden you've got like 12 bandages that you've got to carry, and I mean, and then all of a sudden you've got another pouch on your webbing you've got to fit in, and then you've got to remember where you put them, and it's just added headache at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the last thing you want to be doing, because I'd rather be eating and sleeping. So it's but no, fair play. If that's yeah. So.
I mean, I prefer to be at the front or at the back. I mean, I've never done a medic role. I mean, I'd probably be quite bad at it.
Next game. Yeah, next game you're now going to be the medic. You do know now. No, you said that.
Yeah.
Should I write that down in the notes for the team? Is that the?
Yeah. That's why Mike keeps looking down. He's like, right.
Yeah. That's why Lance really wants to be the medic.
Yeah.
Lance isn't on because he's just making notes.
Yeah. He's watching it. He's like, yeah, boys, keep talking.
I mean, to be fair to Lance as well. I mean, the post game we always get a debrief about like what worked really well, what didn't work so well. For me personally, I got a bit of a bollocking last time because out on patrol I didn't have two hands on the rifle, and it's stuff that you don't really. Yeah, there you go. See, it's thanks, mate. But that's the thing, though. Is I mean, and because we all know each other and we can critique each other, it does make our gameplay better, which makes ultimately you're in for a better game. So, I mean, we've all said that going on training days and stuff would be really useful, and stuff like that. I think ultimately you make of it as much as you want to put in, so you can kind of get out more. Yeah, yeah, I'm just babbling on now.
Well, that leads quite nicely. Mike asked, "You guys have training sessions? Have you got somewhere you go?"
No. No. I mean, we've always it's something that we've said we wanted to do. I think in the chat over the last couple of games and stuff, we've said that like especially room clearance and stuff, doing things in urban environments you can't. I mean, unless you're in Longboard training in the village, going house to house, that's not something you can really train unless you've got that environment. But we have said that we'd like to get into the field somewhere, mark out the ground of like a house and actually practice room clearance drills, because if all of a sudden we've spent a couple of hours doing that, ultimately it's going to make the game better.
Go, Reese.
You're right, Reese.
Yo.
Stuff's happening.
Reese has died. Reese has fallen in the hole again. Yeah, I mean,
I'll get up.
I know we've talked about doing training, haven't we? Sort of occasionally and stuff. And I think there is sort of plans in the making, but there's not really kind of been anything sort of properly set up yet. I don't think.
It'd be good laugh to do it though. It'll be to have the opportunity to actually practice something. It would be.
Can't
you just do it around Michael Lance's house? A couple of flashbangs in some of the rooms.
Yeah, in fact, we'll do it around Mike's neighbours are really elderly. Like that'll be perfect. Like it'll be.
Yeah. We are going into that one. Nick and Les are both asked
Reese all right?
Question. I don't know.
Reese,
you need a medic. Oh
no, he's gone. That's your answer.
Lovely, Reese will come back. Nick and Les both asked sort of similar questions. So Nick says roughly how many do you have in the team, and Les asks how many of you are in the team. So do you know them?
I don't actually know off the top of my head. I can have a look on. I can tell you how many are in the chat. That's probably the best way of doing it.
I think it's 20.
The infamous Punisher chat. Where is it?
Yeah, it's 20. Yeah, so we kind of generally work along the basis of having a team chat, and then it's kind of like people throw events in there that they want to go to, and then it kind of gets set up from there. So there's a follow-up question to that on how many of the team are doing Defiant. So I think there's 6 proper Punishers doing Defiant, but then there's also a few guys in that we've obviously met at various events that whilst aren't, I guess, in the team. Like Andy, for example, that's how the Punishers team effectively grows. Is just, we start playing.
Get Klingons.
You get Klingons.
Yeah.
And then you basically just sort of get sucked in, really.
Drugging them and just giving them a patch.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Our recruitment method is that of a paedophile.
Which is actually quite hard.
What a dizzying low to drop down to. Do you want to talk about team organisation then, David? Do you want to tell us a bit about team organisation? How is the team, in your mind, organised? Obviously, this was more of a question I had aimed at Lance, but
yeah, that's well, as I said before, it could be like herding cats. I mean, to be fair, there's 20 people in our team. It's when we get to an event, we normally have a sides chat that gets created, and then roles get assigned based on who's playing, and what we all kind of want to do. It depends on which weapons we're bringing, what the game type is, and that kind of thing. I mean, overall, Lance, to be fair, is the king organisation in terms of the Punishers as a whole. And as you said, a game gets mentioned, and we go in and who's free to go, yeah, okay, and that kind of thing. So, is that answering the question? I don't really know. So, where's Lance when you need him?
Yeah, so I'll elaborate a little bit more. When we go to events, normally there's a TL allocated. It doesn't necessarily have to be Lance. Sometimes it's Kettles or whoever wants to do it, really. We then usually break out into 5 teams, depending on how many people are going. So I think at the last Legion event, there was possibly about 10 of us, something like that.
Yeah. Something like that.
So we sort of generally tend to break out into sort of 2 teams. And then you usually have like a TL for that section. So usually sort of Bravo or Charlie. And then, yeah, it just depends on who's carrying what riffs and that you want to play with. We've obviously got, I think we've got about 4 mortars in the team. And it just depends ultimately on what people want to bring along to that event, and then how you want to play. I guess if you specifically want to be the medic, you can be the medic. So, how about you, Andy? What have you seen? Because obviously you've sort of fairly new to the Punishers from an outsider perspective, I guess. But you've been in some other teams and that as well.
Been in a few.
Would you say that it's a sort of a different organisation structure that you've seen to other teams, or less, or worse, or better, or?
Well, considering the teams that I've been in have been, the best way to describe them would be unorganised messes, because I've been in charge of one, and someone else is in charge of another, and it just, from what I've seen of you guys, you seem more organised than other groups out there, which obviously will always give you an advantage on the field. But yeah, from my experience, most teams are a bit of a mess. Unless you've, like you said earlier, Dave, the friendship thing makes a massive difference. And if it's something you're doing regularly as friends, then you're always going to gel quickly at an event.
I completely agree. I mean, the using Longmore as an example, you're standing in a Sanger at 3 o'clock in the morning, pissing down with rain. You don't want to be there. Like, you're paying to be there, but you don't want to be there. But then all of a sudden you're hanging out with some of your closest mates that you could really like. It's just it gives you that whole kind of factor that's you can't really. It just makes it fun again. It's a good laugh, and you're all in it together, which means it's like you can all relate to it, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome back, Reese.
Thank you.
Did you have fun?
Yeah. I had to get the fan out to blow the phone. I was like, oh no. What are they going to think?
I thought you'd fallen down a hole. We were going to start calling you Trip Loft.
Yeah.
Reese, we were just talking about sort of like the organisation of the Punishers and sort of how they run games and stuff like that. What were your sort of experiences of that?
I mean, it is very organised, which at first I found quite difficult because obviously I never really played in a team before joining the Punishers. I mean, I knew like standard hand signs that obviously I'd learned from watching other people and things like that. I know that obviously just as I'd cut off, Dave was talking about like breaching buildings and things like that. And that was kind of where I learned like hand signals and things like that. Because I never really used them and could never really understand why anyone would use them. But now that I know more about them, it's a lot easier to communicate and be more like efficient in the organisation of things, as well as obviously like briefs before we go out, after we've come out, where we could do better and things like that, which quite happy with.
That one.
You got sideways, Reese.
Where's my?
Yeah.
Oh,
I see your phone's working like the riffs.
We'll see you in a minute, Reese. Yeah. He's falling down the hole again.
Yeah.
So moving on to a sort of slightly different topic then. There's a few questions that have come in. Ryan says, "Don't lie, Dave. You just get carried."
I loved it. It was.
Talking of dropping your mags, Danny pointed out that you still did that at AI.
Thank you, Danny.
Silly Gilly says, "Wow, the weight of a BB. Don't get too technical." I think Reese has got to get. Ryan says, "If you want to do mine clearance or room clearance, then mine tape to mark out a boundary and a garden or something does work. So that's possibly something we could look at doing."
No, definitely cool.
Ryan also says, "Mine tape would be happy to pass on my limited knowledge. I know Lance's brother is good for that too." Yeah, so this is something I know we've been talking about the NoFo event, the next NoFo event is possibly something that we might sort of incorporate into that a little bit as well. When that happens, and it will happen. It will happen. Danny says, "I thought you loved me, Dave."
I do love you, Danny.
I think it was the Klingons who got a little bit annoyed.
Oh. I was only joking.
James C said, "Glass houses can be an excellent for training." Yeah. Fresh Meat says, "Everyone did a stellar job raiding the 2 houses at Longmoor. 2 houses breached and cleared and evac'd in under 5 minutes." Although I do think that the under 5 minutes was probably because the enemy team weren't in the buildings at the time.
Yeah.
Just to point that one out.
They gave us those breaching charges, didn't they? And so it's like a almost like a BFG, I guess, that took it looked like a 12 gauge shell, and me and Danny had one, and there was no, and they basically gave it to you in 2 halves because there's no safety on it, and you're like running through the woods holding this thing, like, oh god, I'm gonna like literally lose a limb in a minute, and you screw on the end and you drop it. And I threw it down start and it didn't go off. And I'm like, is there a timer on it? Is there not a timer on it? So everyone's waiting behind me. It's like, oh god, it's yeah, good fun though.
Yeah. Go and pick it back up and shake it.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Banging it on the wall and
kicking it.
The whole "don't return to a lit firework" type thing, isn't it? It's like, ah!
Yeah.
But it was just they literally gave it to you in 2 halves, and it's like, I mean, we had ages to walk with it. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like literally like I felt like I was running with a lit firework. Which is like,
yeah. So what's been your best moment then? As a
Ryan carrying me.
There was no thought about it at all, was there?
I was going to say with the Punishers, not specifically Ryan, because Ryan.
Yeah, no, I mean
Ryan's obviously not in the team.
that was. I mean, to be fair, there's loads of things that I can think of. I mean, Ryan carrying me was a moment, but then I mean, previous, I can't even remember which Gladius it was now. We had an extended line coming out the tree. I don't even know what you call it now, but where some of you drop and provide suppressing fire, and the next little run. I mean, we actually took the first run of houses from doing that, and that was absolutely insane. One of the Octo games, we were sitting on top of this hill fort, fire and mortar suppressing, like it's just there's so many different kind of memories that you can bring up. It's it's cool. So, I don't know.
Too many to count.
Yeah.
I think the one of the things I'm going to jump in here because obviously Reese is having a few technical issues and Lance isn't here either. But one of the things that I think is good about being in a team is the team camaraderie point of view. Like you rock up to a skirmish day and there might be maybe 1 or 2 of your mates there. But it's not like you're necessarily playing with a big team of people that you play with regularly. Whereas I think MilSim as a whole, and especially if you sort of rock up in a team, you start seeing the same characters, and you build up relationships with people. I mean, all the guys in the chat that I've had the opportunity to meet and sort of hang out with, and sort of play a bit of Airsoft, it's awesome because you get to meet new people and all that, and you build those friendships. And I mean, Ryan, I'd never met Ryan until the last Legion event. Now we're talking about doing sleeveless U-backs, and he wants to carry me in a condom hat for an event because he's been in training. So literally, he said, "I've been in training, Mike, ready to carry you in a condom hat for the next event." And it's those sorts of things I like. It's the fact that you're not just, it's not just rocking up to an event and playing a bit of Airsoft. It's actually, you're rocking up, you're seeing people you haven't seen in a while, because usually sort of teams are sort of spread out a little bit, and hanging out with your mates. That's ultimately what it is. And
there was one particular game that we were doing. We got shafted on stag, so the team relieving us didn't turn up. I think we ended up doing a double stag session. And then because of that, we missed our sleep slot, and we went straight out on patrol. And we must have been going, I think it was like from, 9 until, 4 or 5 in the morning. And we were hammered. Like, we just were dead to the world. And we were on patrol in the middle of nowhere. And we literally, I can't remember what the actual mission was now, but we'd done what we needed to do, be it Overwatch or whatever, and we were sitting there and we got told to hold fast, and it started pissing it down. And I think there was 8 of us huddled around this tree, and we all had a nap for half an hour, and we were just basically rested on each other. And it's as gay as that sounds, probably you just like those guys that are around that tree again. You just like you can't beat that feeling. I don't think it's just like knowing that the guy next to you is in exactly the same position, that's having exactly the same time, but it's just it's good, that camaraderie kind of sense of. Oh, Andy's gone now. Am I going next? Is that
apparently just dropping like flies?
What happens if your internet goes and I'm the only one here?
Just run
the
show.
David show. Woohoo!
Oh, Andy is properly gone now as well. Oh, cool. Right, this is going well. Right, what would you want to improve? What would, in your opinion? I mean, I guess I'm just going to jump in now as also part of the interview. So what would you want to improve about the Punishers? What do you think would make the Punishers a better team?
I think training as a whole would be good. It's difficult, I guess. Playing with the whole team would be amazing. Going from game to game is difficult. Obviously, there's 20 of us in the chat alone, trying to then align everybody to get into a game and turning up and playing. It's herding cats, isn't it? But being able to do that would be nuts. Training, playing, just getting out more with everybody. It's life gets in the way, doesn't it? I
was going to say, you're getting married at the end of the year, and I know you.
Yeah, was that?
Any more events for a while.
Yeah, the AI 500 was my last game,
okay.
And he's back.
No internet sucks.
Did you have to put 50p in the meter to get it going again? Was that
£5 it cost me.
Wow.
Just to log back on.
Oh.
I was like, it's all right.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it back through to the boss.
Oh, Reese has come back as well. Look, we're all here.
Hey, we're all coming back. Lance.
No. Mike Bruce says for training, contact me. There are things we can do.
That'd be awesome, to be fair. I mean, even the radios as well. The fucking radios and games are a nightmare. Mike at Legion made such a difference. He chirped him, whatever. I don't know. The
chirp, yeah.
I'm really not technical in all this lingo, but yeah, whatever he did to the radios, they worked, and it was great.
Yeah.
That chirp program is an absolute lifesaver.
Get a bit of feedback off someone's stream. I'm not sure who that is, but
is it me?
I'm not sure how we fix that.
Yeah. We've lost them all.
Ryan says the easiest thing to do is come up with some basic SOPs. like everyone has a bandage in the top left, or first person enters the second room. Enters the room, second man always goes opposite, for example. So are there any sort of SOPs that you can name that we have?
Yeah, I mean, the bandage one's a classic example. So prior to, I mean, again, it depends on what the game rules are. I need to take that out for a second to talk because it's going to give me a headache. Depending on what the game rules are, we'll always either carry the bandage in the top right or the trouser leg. At times we've done grenade sharing. Yeah, I don't know really. The formations we've done before, I think. Why are you pulling that face?
Andy's gone again. It's just an absolute chaotic stream tonight. Honestly, it's just tearing my hair out. Reese, can you sort of think of any sort of things that you do as a team that it makes a difference rather than just being like an individual playing Airsoft? Hang on, you're muted. There we go. Oh. There you go.
What do I think that needs?
There is one other thing that I've just thought of. Hot water. It sounds really stupid, but if someone's heating up a rat pack in the corner, everyone's always like, anyone wants some hot water? Which again, you're standing in a sanger, keeping watch, having someone turn up with some hot water. It's such a game changer because all of a sudden you're warm, you've got something in your belly. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, so for those on the podcast, Andy's come back, but apparently doesn't have a mic or a video feed, so that's good. Right, cool. David, Ray says, does your future wife know you have 8-man gangbangs in the woods when you're supposed to be playing Airsoft?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Andy's back.
Hi.
Yeah, no, the wife fully advocates the 8-man gangbangs that happen in the woods. Yeah.
What did I come back to?
What
go for 2 seconds.
Reese, what would you change about the Punishers? What would you do to make it better?
Yeah. Sorry, I'll start fiddling around with my phone. I'm trying to find a good place to put it. Trying to get a good part of the nose. Funny you say that. I don't know if anyone's actually said it because obviously I've been disappeared for a while. I apologise, Lance. This was a conversation we had before this had started. We need to change the name.
You've not found the name?
I think that we should change the name to Pixies because I mean when things.
Well, wasn't it the fairies? I thought we were.
Yes, I think it might have been the fairies. You are right.
Yeah. We're also saying before the live started that we should basically just give up with MilSims because we're useless at that, and then let's all just go paintballing.
Mike is not impressed whatsoever.
I don't think we're going to get asked back, to be honest, mate.
No, I don't think we will.
Welcome to the November Foxtrot podcast, where apparently we've completely abandoned our original mission, and we're now talking about fairy paintball.
Furry paintball. That's a
Furry
whole
Furry
area.
paintball,
yeah.
That's something you don't want to get into at all.
I don't remember that being part of the pre-conversation, Mike. Have you got other ideas?
Equally, could you imagine Tony running around with a fox head on, just like?
No, that would be funny.
So, for those of you that don't know, Tony is one of the more senior members of the team. I think that's fair to say. He's probably one of the oldest on the team, but he gets around with the rest of us. I mean, I'm massively unfit, so he's usually ahead of me anyway. But yeah, so the team structure. I mean, I guess we've got guys ranging from sort of relatively. I'm not going to say elderly. I don't know how old Tony is, but we've got a wide range of ages on the team, which I know is sort of quite nice. It sort of gives a bit of diversity to it all and that. But in all seriousness, though, what would you actually do to improve the team if you could?
You asking me that again?
No, I was asking Reece. Sorry.
Right, I was going to say.
Sorry, I turned my mic off because I was drinking. Sorry, I swallowed a bit of ice.
Yeah,
what would I change? Do you know what? That is a tough question, because, in all honesty, I wouldn't change anything. Really, I think it works really well the way that we run things, and I mean, like small little things like better communication and things like that. Maybe know the area that we're working towards, because obviously like yourself, Mike, Andy and Dave, you guys have been to all kinds of different sites where obviously I'm kind of just based as and where I decide to go. So obviously other sites that I've never been to obviously puts me at a disadvantage compared to the rest of everyone else. So I think, not personally just for me, but like if we ever did go to a different site, I know that obviously we sometimes print off like small maps and things like that. Maybe just a little bit more.
Sharing intel type things.
Yeah. But other than that, it's been quite fun.
Do you not find the mystery of going to some new places fun as well? So you get given a map and you're like, well, which way around is this map meant to be? And then you end up walking towards some old lady's house and then realising you've left the game site.
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
Yeah.
I can't remember where it was now. I think it was Legion, but sorry, Longmoor. It was the first time I think we've ever been there, and one of the first mission, they basically just gave you an empty map with no street names on it, no building numbers, nothing. And I think even the map was half completed. And they actually basically just sent you out and said, right, you've got to do recce for the first couple of hours. And that was such an interesting concept because you're literally in somewhere that you've never been to before. I can't even remember what the game type was now, but the knowing that you're effectively trying to actually gather intel without being seen, that's a very different spin to what I've done at different sites. And that's something I'd definitely love to see elsewhere if a site can do it. Problem is, though, you then need to find different sites because obviously once you've done it once, it's I guess you kind of lose that sense of excitement from it. But it's, the first time we did that was nuts.
Yeah, and the only other thing is sometimes they change your orientation.
Yeah,
and then you have to kind of work out what you're doing again. But yeah, once you've been to one site, it's quite easy to remember it unless you leave it a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Longmoor. We played Longmoor a lot now, and but even now, I mean, there's times that someone will say, "Oh yeah, we're running to building 12 in Jan Slut's Close or whatever," and I'm still like, I've got no idea where it is because you literally, it's like
just running around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
sounds like sluts. I just find that funny.
I mean, what could make it quite cool, I guess, as well, if the sites to give you, you've got to go pick up intel from like intel caches. I guess they give you grid coordinates, so you've actually got to use your maps. So I'd like to see that in gameplay more. I think that'd be pretty cool.
What, like a drop site or something?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, so it's literally you need to. It's not just a case that it's up the road and you've actually got to go find something in the woodlands that there's not necessarily any landmarks associated with. So it's, I don't know, that would be pretty cool. Just to give it that little bit of an edge in the sense of rather than here's a site you always go to, you actually got to work out. Although, as Mike saw, my map reading game Dartmoor over the weekend wasn't particularly good. we won't go into that, but it's
yeah.
So.
Right, so now we need to know.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Basically, it was just he couldn't map read properly. It just forgot where we were going and didn't like even landmarks on the ground. Like, I think we need to go over there. It's like, nope, we're going that way because up there is a bog. Yeah, it's just little things like that, but it's fine.
I really wanted to go to the toilet.
It.
That was what it was.
Yeah. Reese, one of the things we covered whilst you dived off the show was sort of your favourite notable stories or anything like that.
Most notable stories. Do you know what? I've got a great one, and it's actually to do with Johnny 600. I don't know if you guys have been told about it. Maybe about a smoke grenade and Johnny 600. So, after me and Dad had started airsofting for a while, John came into the mix. And we took him to this airsoft site, and basically what had happened was he had a smoke grenade in his pouch, and he hit this wall so hard it managed to spark this smoke grenade. And no word of a lie, I've never seen a 6'1" giant jump around like he did, trying to pull this vest off. And I mean, he was proper like, oh! And I mean, that will be with me probably until the day I die. And if he ever watches this, or anyone ever comes in contact with him, make sure you rip him for it. Dangerous, but at the same time, just one of those things.
You must hit a wall pretty hard to set off as pyro, surely.
That's what I mean. And it was, I can't remember what side it was on. I think it might have been his left side. But he'd hit this wall so hard that this smoke grenade went off. And it was just like, rah. Only you could do that, John.
That's similar to that when we were at the raining pyro where it landed in Lance's dump pouch. That was an experience. That was terrifying.
I don't know if anyone's got any other questions for the guys. Please feel free to throw them in the chat. Reese, I'm just going to keep you muted for the moment. That's all right, just to sort of limit feedback. If that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just unmute yourself when you want to have a chat. If anyone's got any questions they want to throw them in the chat, just
I've got
put a
one.
little queue on there. We can obviously ask them. Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, what's your favourite Mike or Lance moment?
Oh,
for example,
no.
Mike got shot in the ear
moment?
and sounded like a helium balloon.
What's your favourite Lance moment?
Which one would you like first?
We'll do it alphabetical. That'll throw you.
Right, so Lance. My favourite Lance moment. There's two that comes to mind. One's more jokey, the other one's a bit more just was like, what the hell is going on? I think Lance has covered that one. I'll do that one first. We were at Longmoor. We'd been out on patrol. We were huddled into this ditch and we saw this red light coming, and it turned out to be the actual army with full nods on and stuff. And we were just sitting there like, oh my god, what? It's like, who are these people? Why are they coming towards us? Are they going to find us? That was pretty cool. But no, my funny Lance moment was the first time somebody asked Lance for a photo. And we've never let him forget it. And then Mike, where do we begin? Captain Condom. That's a favourite. My leg, where he was barbecuing something and it fell on his leg and he didn't like get up and pull it out. But the ultimate would probably be
I don't want to play this game anymore.
King Julian over here. We were sitting around a campfire. I think it was Octo, wasn't it, after the actual main game? And we'd had the barbecue and everything that we do. And we had some music on the go, and someone went, "Oh yeah, Mike, can you play dueling banjos?" And he sat there for a minute and it's like looking, and it's like, who the hell is Julian Banjo? And it was just like, it was amazing. And yeah, hence the name King Julian is Julian.
I'm glad I asked that
But
question.
I could go on more, to be honest. Is that, so let me tell you, when Michael was 5 and I was 1. drop scroll.
How about you, Reese? Have you
Sorry,
got any
Mark.
love stories? Just Mark stories.
See, I don't think I do. I don't. Believe it or not, I'd like to go back one to a memorable moment, and I can't remember. It might have been you, Dave. I think you might have been in the building with us at the Legion last time during the night, and it actually involves me. And we'd taken a stronghold. I can't remember what it was called. It had like the big stone wall around it. Yeah. Anyway,
The Fob Stone, Fob, the Alamo, Fob Alamo.
yes, the one that we had to keep retaking all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a heavy sleeper, meaning I'll sleep anywhere at any time. Well, out of all the times to fall asleep, we were getting bombarded by every type of grenade possible. And everyone's dying, and everyone that's dead have gone into the building, so they're like out of the way of all the grenades and things like that. The other team has taken it one step further and started, putting them through the building, hoping that people would die. Everyone's getting flashbanged and things like that, and then there's me in the corner, asleep on the floor. And that is no joke.
Just slept through the whole thing.
That has actually reminded me of something else as well. of you. Go on, I'll let you finish. And then...
No, that was it. That was done.
I was going to say, you asked what we'd change about the Punisher team, and this kind of goes back to the standard operating procedures. I think every member of the team should be given a can of air freshener, because I don't know what it is, but for some reason, wherever we're held up somewhere, everybody stinks, and oh god. There's moments like, for some reason they always do it in confined spaces. Yeah, it's not good.
Everyone gets issued a can of Lynx before the game.
Yeah, but exactly. Like, or Febreze or something, It's like
Febreze. Oh, is that bad? Is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, the last
barbecue food. That's the problem.
Yeah, no. Well, the last particular when we were at Legion last, the long ball game, Mark. This is why we were on Stag, and Mark was going around all the sangers, and he got to me being on the last one, and just as he climbed up the stairs, I went, "I'm really sorry, mate, but you should have come up 30 seconds earlier, because I've literally just dropped one." And he was like, "For fuck's sake, I've been around every single tower, and you've all done the same."
Fair dues. So I guess sort of we're kind of just moving on from farts. It's the end of the evening. What would you see is sort of the future of the Punishers team? Like, where can you see it going in sort of like the next few years?
For me, I'd like to see us go. Maybe find some of these games abroad, like to the really big MilSims and stuff. That'd be awesome to be able to do that. I mean, equally, we've said about going to games like up in Wales, Scotland, and I'd like to go try other sites personally. But equally, I'd just like to see the team kind of grow and get better with our skills and just kind of evolve, I guess.
Yeah, no, I second that. I'd like to see the team grow. Obviously, I know that we went from obviously just being one big team to then obviously branching into two like identical teams with two leaders. But yeah, again with the trying new sites and kind of improving our skills to a point where we're all happy with. But yeah.
Fair enough.
No team vehicles or anything at all.
Oh, team vehicles would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, yeah, I'd love to get. I know obviously you've spoken about drones and stuff in the past, but I'd love to be able to get my thermal imaging drone down to a game and like actually providing UAV reconnaissance and that kind of thing. That'll be nuts. But yeah, I guess it depends on the game and where it is. Be a vehicles would be immense.
Cool. Well, just jump into the chat then. I don't think I've seen any questions coming. So if anyone's got anything,
Everyone's left.
Because everyone's left.
Everyone's left.
Because they all think we're starting a paintball channel.
Not saying here they ain't interested.
Yeah.
We can't
if anybody ever wants a photo, it would make my day if you came up to me and went, "Can I have a photo?"
Oh my god, you're Manx. Can I get a photo?
Right. Kenny Rebel says sharing is caring with regards to parts. So yeah. Ryan says, Dave, Mike going through your bag at Legion, dropping mags and BBs was an experience.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I can't remember exactly what you were doing, but you ended up dropping my stuff everywhere, and then I think from memory you ended up just walking off and leaving me to do with it.
Brotherly loving it.
I think the exact word is, that sounds like a you problem, mate. See ya.
Thanks, Reese.
You're welcome.
I like that. I think regards to your map reading, sound like Dave's officer material.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not.
Yeah. There comes Andy. Ryan says, prep before a game is as important as the event. Maps, orders, maybe a quick video chat to talk about stuff and help newer players by passing on knowledge. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Fresh Meat says, I've had the pleasure of being with you guys on a few events, and to be honest, from an outsider's view, you'll work well together and when needed and have a good laugh at silly times, but always help out. So there you go.
That's always nice to hear from someone else.
To be honest, playing with Wayne, it's a pleasure. I mean, to be fair, the Legion where we were playing with Mike and Danny and all the other guys, like it was like you slotted right into the team. And it
was it the Reapers, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a few of the Reapers as well. That was good.
Yeah, you guys just fitted straight in. It was really nice to. I think I've been to games before. You've got these big teams and stuff that turn up, and they all turn out to be really knobby. Whereas that's for me, I don't think that's what I ever want us to become. I'd much rather we work well with other people when we're actually recognised as being having a laugh rather than being like. I mean, one of the first games that me and Mike ever went to, there was one particular team there who had about 15 players there who just treated us like we didn't have a clue what we were doing. And yeah, it was just it was within the first like 20 minutes of a whole weekend. It just gets to the point where like, you're right, cheers lads, like you're meant to be on our team working with us, not just treating us like we're idiots. It's so hopefully we're not like that.
Maybe we are.
Awkward if we are.
In terms of the pre-intel stuff, apparently Team Tomahawk have a PowerPoint before most games. We have maps prepped and everyone knows what role they're playing. This is from Mike Brewer. So yeah, I mean, I think Punishes sort of operates sort of fairly similar to that. Not necessarily with a PowerPoint, but maybe that's something that we could adapt or adopt.
I've got to admit, running with the Tom, and they took me and my lads in under their wings quite well. So yeah, thanks for that. Even though Mike wasn't able to play that weekend, yeah, the lads looked after us with the collapse of RTL and things. And then I had to take over. But yeah, that was not a good. But you guys seem to do, from what I've seen from you guys as well, you seem to do that very easily as well. Just take people under your wing. It's never. That's that. I think that's the main part of it as well. Like you're looking after the newish sort of players and things like that, or individual players that turn up on their own. Like you've got no problem with crowbarring them into your team, as it were, or snatching them. Depends which way you want to look at it.
unless they've got yellow shoes.
Oh yeah, we don't do that. Don't do that. That's unprofessional.
I can't want to explain that one.
David specifically referring to our first experience of NAE. There was a young lad there who had yellow shoes on. So full combat gear and bright fucking yellow football boots, which was a little bit of a weird mix.
Love it.
But whenever we come across someone that's a bit of a knobhead, we call them yellow shoes now. Because this kid was just a complete pain in the arse. He was a proper battlefield general.
People could be listening that we've called yellow shoes to, and they're now sitting there thinking, you dickheads.
Oh, hang on a minute, Mike. You said.
But no, it's it's just a little code that we've got now that when we sort of talk about someone like, he's such a yellow
but now
shoe.
you've changed it. You've got to change it now because you've just told all 8
No, we can all
people
start
that are
using it, and then it becomes a thing.
We've got multiple different ways of doing it as well. You just
yeah, one's just doing that behind the back the whole time.
When it gets to that point, that's to their face.
Yeah. Danny says a big shout out for Reese for picking me up when I fell over at Longmore. Okay. Apparently, because you've chosen to mute yourself, Reese, I can't unmute you.
I knew that. I was merely testing you. No, I remember that now. I felt well bad. He was gone. I was just like, oh, let's help him up. Because it wasn't even laughing. He just went down like a sack of rocks. And I was just like, oh, that hurt. Glad it weren't me.
Yeah. To be honest, one of the lads that I run with quite regularly, he fell over and broke his brand new TM recoil, literally snapped it in half. And I just ran past laughing. I was like, just carried on.
But now you have
see him walking back. Yeah, he's just walking back. I've got a photo. I'll post it up, and he's just walking back with his head down and this gun just like that at 45.
So this is an interesting query. I mean, this is maybe more of a Q&A thing, but I've always thought this. So my house insurance technically covers my RIF when I go out and about. But I'd be interested to know if it covered for that level of like damage, if it's like, because it's got accidental cover on it technically.
Yeah, but it's not sports cover. They would class that as a activity. If it's an item covered
outside of the house, is that not? Because he's airsoft a sport. That's a debate.
Well, no, that's a hobby, isn't it? They've already made that decision for us. But yeah, I would say that it's probably covered if it's in the car. If you're running around playing soldier and you fall over and snap it in half, I'll say, well, why are you playing soldier? Oh, virus. Is that what happens to me? Just gone. Everyone just yeah. Had enough of this BS.
Oh, right, we'll probably better call it a day anyway.
I was just going to say, going
this
back
has got too technical house insurance.
If you broke it on site, I mean, could you not just say, oh, it fell off the wall and snapped in half?
Yeah, you could do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until you get the video posted up on Facebook of Mike falling over. Mister, what happened here?
It's a YouTube video. Insurance scam goes wrong.
Yeah.
Think of the views.
Yeah.
And think of the views.
we probably better call it a day. If you want to get in touch with us, November Foxtrot, you can do that at our email, which is NoFoChat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is @November_Foxtrot_NoFo, and our website is NovemberFoxtrot.co.uk. You can also message Andy and I directly at our tags, which is @9VoltAirsoft or @callsign_Quartermaster. You can also contact Lance on his, which is the punished one. I can't remember where all the underscores are. There's lots of underscores in there.
The _punished _1 I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you go on our Instagram, or they're all in the profile on that as well.
Yeah. Dave, do you have one?
David, do you want to share any of your socials or your cloud?
Yeah.
No.
Do you want to go a cheeky plug?
Yeah, if anyone wants to check out CloudCam, we're at CloudCam UAV, I think, or cloudcamuav.com. We did the intro for the and outro for this, which is pretty cool. We film stuff, do 3D scans and whatnot, and anything to do with the drone, we basically cover. Yeah, go check us out if you want. It's not airsoft related at all yet. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
OnlyFans page. Got an OnlyFans page.
Yes. That's not quite released. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to film a porno with a drone.
Yeah. That'd be interesting though, wouldn't it?
You'd have to have a lot of insurance against those blades, wouldn't you?
Oh God! Unless you're using the blades.
Oh, right. Anyway. Right. Thanks everyone for joining us, David. Absolute pleasure to have you on. Reese's phone has overheated again, so Reese, thank you for coming on, mate. Andy apparently has now also lost internet. I know he's back.
I'm still here.
So join us next week, where we're going to have the guys from Defiant Events on. We're going to be doing the pre-event brief for Operation Red Tide, which Lance, Andy, and I are both all attending. Sorry, along with a couple of others. So in the meantime, if you want to get in touch, feel free to do so. Have a good week, and we shall see you next week. So goodbye, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's right.
Please let me come back.